Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at something a little bit more interesting than my typical videos. And today we're going to take a look at Team Rocket's Persian with a Tera Box package. This is a card that I've been meaning to cover, and I've never really found, the best way to play it, so to speak. And, well, I figured, I've seen a couple of creators, try a Tera Box approach, and, well, it does use colourless energy, so why not give it a try? So I've obviously compiled my own list, and hopefully we can get some good games out of it. So obviously, as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links to the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So of course today we're going to take a look at Team Rocket's Persian EX. This isn't the first time you will see, the last time I should say, you will see this card. But it is a card that I've been meaning to cover because it's a really interesting card. Obviously, it's got 2 attacks, but the main focus is going to be on the first attack. Haughty Order. Reveal the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck. You may choose an attack from a Pokemon you find there and use it as this attack. Shuffle the revealed cards back into your opponent's deck. Obviously, it doesn't say back into, it just says into. Doesn't really matter. So what that means is, if we're facing a deck like Dragapult, and they've had a really poor start and we've had a pretty good start, we could potentially find a Phantom Dive straight off the top. We could find a Burning Darkness Charizard if they're playing, Charizard. We can find, if they're playing like Future Box or something. We could copy Miraidon and charge up our Iron Leaves if we ever need it. That sort of approach. There's a lot of different attack options that we have just by using that first attack. Obviously, we do have the option to Cruel Slash as well for 140, and it confuses our opponent's active Pokemon. It is one of those things, you can think about what sort of attacks you can copy. And if you're facing opposing Tera Box, you can even whack them with their own Wellspring, which is always nice. Obviously, we are playing Wellsprings anyway, because, it's a splashable attacker, it's really easy to set up. And obviously, with our A-Spec being Sparkling Crystal, it is definitely something. Now, we are playing one copy of the... my mouse actually works. I am playing one copy of the Team Rocket's Energy. This is just so we're not using as many resources to power up our Persian. But obviously, if we do prize this energy, it's not a big deal because, we can Crispin, Energy Switch, Hand Attach and things like that. But I wanted to play a one of Team Rocket's Energy because we can also combine it with the supporter card Hilda. Obviously, Hilda's a really good card in this list anyway, because it helps us find Noctowls and, energy cards that we need, like Grass Energy, or maybe a specific type of energy for Pikachu, that sort of thing. But also it finds us Team Rocket's Energy, and also finds us our Persians, which is going to be very useful. And that's sort of the approach I did. I've only gone for a 2-2 line of the cat, because I don't really think you need to play more than that. But otherwise, we have a pretty typical Tera Box squad. We have Terapagos, which can obviously do some work. Bloodmoon, which can also do some work. Lillie's Clefairy plus the Mew package, just to, deal with the Dragon types. Obviously, as mentioned, we do have the Pikachu EX as well. We also have 2 copies of the Wellspring. We also have 1 copy of the Teal Mask Ogerpon. And, of course, the aforementioned Iron Leaves EX. This gives us a lot of different type coverage. The only thing that I would want to add in as, a bit of an extra attacker is a one-off Fighting Energy and a Persimmon, but I've not really found the room for that, because obviously that is quite a lot to add in as well as, everything else that we're playing. If you was to probably cut a card, you could probably get away with catching an Ultra Ball, because we are playing Hilda, which is obviously, a way to get an extra evolution Pokemon. So that could be a space for, Persimmon, if it comes to it. You could also cut a Psychic Energy, but at that point you're playing a bit of a risky game with your Crispins, so, there's a lot to think about. Another card you could potentially add in here is a Earthen Vessel, but we'll get into more on that in a moment. Anyway, let's get into the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. As I said in the intro part, and obviously a brief overview of the deck list, I only put in a 2-2 line of the Meowth and the Persian, because obviously we are, we're playing 23 Pokemon in here, I believe it is. That's a lot, and obviously we don't really have room for things like Ditto. We don't really have rooms for something like, as I mentioned, the Persimmon with the Fighting Energy. We're trying to fit a lot into here, and I didn't want to, overclog the list, because obviously, we could potentially cause ourselves issues there. But overall, I think I've done a pretty decent job of like putting together what I wanted for the list. And well, hopefully this list will work out for us. So of course we're playing a 3-3 Hoothoot Noctowl line, which obviously can be searched off the Fan Rotom. Same with the Meowth, which is also useful. We're playing 2 Meowths, 2 Team Rocket's Persians. Obviously they are Team Rocket's Meowths, they have to be Team Rocket's Meowths to evolve into Team Rocket's Persian. Don't make that mistake. Then of course we have 2 Fan Rotoms, 2 Wellsprings, 1 Teal Mask, 1 Latias, 1 Fez, 1 Lillie's Clefairy, 1 Iron Leaves, 1 Terapagos, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, 1 Pikachu, and of course 1 Mew. Then we're playing 3 Crispin, 2 Boss, 1 Turo, 1 Lillies, 1 Iono, 1 Hilda. For items we're playing 4 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Energy Switch, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Super Rod, 1 Buddy Poffin, 1 Air Balloon, 1 Sparkling Crystal as our Ace Spec, which obviously works with our Terras. Then of course we have 3 Area 0 Underdepths, 4 Grass Energy, 2 Psychic, 1 Water, 1 Lightning, 1 Metal, and of course 1 Team Rocket's Energy. This so far has been a pretty fun list to test. The problem is obviously if you're doing it against AI, which, you know, can be the case, I find myself actually having to face the AI Zoroark deck, which obviously we don't play an Ends Pokemon, but you know, it's still a really creative list to play. And obviously we have a lot of different options. You know, we have the Iron Leaves for a bit of grass coverage. Teal Mask, if we can get enough grass onto him, can obviously, you know, do some work as well. The Wellspring obviously is really good into the evolving matchups, which is obviously going to be pretty key for us. The Clefairy obviously is going to be very useful for dealing with dragons, and also fighting Pokemon that are weak to Psychic, like Lucario. And obviously Pikachu is just a great wall breaker to have anyway, and plus it's a good wall as well, because not many Pokemon playing out to Pikachu, and some decks don't even play out at all, and they have to 2-hit it, which is beneficial for us if we put the Crystal on. And overall, Pikachu's just a really solid attacker. Mew is kind of like Persian, but obviously Mew copies the active Pokemon's attacks instead of copying one from the deck. And also, if your opponent plays something like a Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking as their support for turn, and they don't draw into those cards, you can actually disrupt them with Haughty Order. If they put a Pokemon on top of there as well that they want to grab, you can potentially copy that, shuffle it back into their deck, and then, well, that's the end of them. The chance of that happening is quite low, because obviously your opponent tends to have something like Kang to draw into those cards, but the fact that we have that option is actually really good. So I'm really hoping we can get some good work out of this Persian today. So let's get into a match and see how we do. And welcome to our first game. I've not been playing the ladder, I will admit that again. Like I said in the, I think it was, would have been the Mega for Alligator video. I've just not had time to jump on the ladder. I mean, I'm covering a shift tonight as it is. I start in about 2 hours, so I thought, well, why not get this video done, and then I can start working on some other ones during the week and get a few days off. So that was the thought process, at least. And looks like we're going first. I'm not mad about that. I'm actually quite happy to go first. I'd be more happy to go first if we had a Ditto, however. Now we have a Molly, and so do they. Let's see what we're facing. Okay, we start a Meowth, that's fine. Dengo, ooh, that's not good for us. The reason why that's not good for us is because Dengo doesn't really play much in the way of, you know, Pokemon we can copy the attacks of. So it looks like it's going to be a Wellspring meta this video, but that's fine for this first part of the video anyway. Okay, let's have a look. We've got both Wellsprings in there. We've got Meowth as a backup. We've got 3 Hoothoots. Need to know about the Noctowls. That's the most important thing. I have prized 2 Noctowls. Not prized any Persian. Oh, this is going to be rough. Okay, we've also prized a couple of energy. Well, we've prized 1 grass. Okay, yeah, I can live with that, but yeah, Pikachu's going to be MVP in this matchup, so I know we're probably not going to get to use the Persian, but I will try to use it where possible. So I'm just going to grab 2 Hoothoots and a Noct. I'll do that. I kind of want to save these energies in hand, but then again, if I'm attacking with Pika anyway, I'll be using a Crystal. So I will just attach to the Meowth for now, and I will pass. Because obviously I can still crisp into the Pikachu with a Grass Energy and attach the Metal from hand, it's not a big deal. But ultimately, this just feels kind of bad. Plus, as well, putting the lightning on the Meowth means I get a retreat. So it's, again, you know, something at least. I mean, we can also just grab, you know, we could just grab the Latias and obviously free retreat it, energy switch to the Pikachu, but that's a lot more investment. But they seem to be struggling for stuff, which is good. And no, they're just going to go in with the Cosmic Beam, which is fine. I can live with that. That means I'm going to be promoting Pika then, because we can go... Then again, no, I can't. Unless we let go, like, for Teal Mask and stuff. Okay, this might be a bit awkward, but let's see what we can do. Well, there's Nest Ball, so that's a good start. Can get ourselves Fez. If we can draw into something that we don't need, like, if we can get something off of the Fez, that will be pretty nice. I don't need to Artisan, I'm just going to shuffle the deck, because I can. Let's flip the script to see what we get. There's Ultra Ball. That does get us access to a Teal Mask, which means we can do the play. So let's go Ultra Ball, get rid of... In fact, no, I need to keep one of these. Yeah, that's fine. Then we can go Teal Mask Ogerpon. Because what it means is we don't have to use Crispin this turn for support. We can actually boss the Genesect, which is good. So now we want Energy Switch, and we want the Crystal. So let's Teal Dance to the Ogerpon. Okay, that's going to be useful for later. Energy Switch to the Pika, attach to the Pika, Crystal the Pika, boss the Genesect, and Topaz Bolt, 300 damage. I'll definitely take that. Take a good 2-prize lead. Yes, they will obviously break the Pika, if that's the word I would use. But so far, that's not bad. Obviously, they are going to get out a Gimmighoul now. But that, again, is completely fine. I would like to get a Wellspring going, but the chance of that happening is quite low. They can obviously Cosmic Beam and we'll put some damage on the Pika, but that's completely fine. I can live with that. There's Team Rocket's energy. That's not going to be useful right now. I'm thinking I just like grab Super Rod and Crispin and just take out the Solrock. But then that leaves me vulnerable. But then again, I've got Lilies in hand, so I'm not particularly worried about that. So I think that's what I do. I need to grab Super Rod, which even though I didn't even check if it was prized or not. It is prized. Shite. Okay, looks like we're doing this a different way. So let's go for a Crispin. What energies do we have left in deck? We have the Grass, Psychic, and Water. So in that case, then, I take Night Stretcher. Does mean we're not setting up another attacker, though. That's the only problem here. I mean, I can always set up Fez, I guess. Like, Fez is an option. Doesn't really matter what energy I grab, so I'm just going to grab a Lightning. Crispin. Take these two. Grass into the... Actually, no, we need to accelerate to the Pika, so I have to take the Water to hand. Unfortunately, I have to do it that way because I don't have E-Switch. And yeah, we're just going to Topaz Bolt, take out the Solrock. Does mean our opponent only needs 3 to take out this Pika, but hopefully we can find something. That's not great, but that is our second Noctowl at the prizes, so that's good. The problem is, of course, is as I said, we can't really use Persian in this matchup because obviously Dengo doesn't really have something we can copy. Oh, they're playing a Lucario build. Oh, that could actually be good for us if they evolve it. If they evolve this into a Lucario, this could actually be really good for us. So obviously we do play Psychic attackers. We do play, obviously, you know, Mew. Obviously the Clefairy. And heck, even Latias can get involved. But they don't need a lot to take out my Pika here, which is a problem. So let's see what they can do. Because obviously I had to go Crispin to the Pika there and obviously manually attach. They only do it for 50! Ooh. Ooh. Hold on. I don't have any more recovery, that's the problem. There's an energy switch. I could Turo this Pika and give him like a Noctowl or something. Reset the Pika, but then that's a lot of resource investment. I think I'm happy to let them take out the Pika here, I'll be honest. I'm gonna attach the Fez. And our Lillies. Okay, CC Bear. That doesn't really get me anything. Next turn, what does that get me? Not a whole lot is all I'll say. It's because of my Super Rod's prize. I've not been able to recover any energy. Okay, this could get ugly is what I'm trying to say. If they kill the Pika this turn, it's fine. But it's if, you know, I can recover some energy because I think I'm out of steam at this point, I'll be honest, folks. I think I'm out of steam. That's the problem. You know, like, Tera Box is a very aggressive deck, but if you prize stuff like Super Rod, you know, you're using Pikachu a lot, it can get very resource intensive. And that's kind of the problem we're having right here, is we are pretty much out of steam. The only way in which we win this game is if, because we've only used one boss, and yeah, there's Superior, so they have to knock out the Pika. The only way in which we win this game is if we can Fez snipe one of their Pokemon, and we manage to Clefairy the Goldengo with like an Area 0 down. That is the only way in which I can actually do something here. They're going to go into Solrock, so that probably means they have Vitality Band. Or that, so they can take the knockout with the Solrock. Annoying, but I will deal with it. It is fine. We have the retreat on the Fez at the very least. Alright, so let's see what we can do with the Fez. There's Air Balloon, that doesn't really help us. Because I can't respond to this with a Fan, because the Fan is not really getting me anywhere. There's Psychic. Ooh. Let me check the deck, hold on. Clefairy's in there, so that's fine, we can do that. Ah, it's Team Rocket's energy, yeah. Okay. So our next prize card needs to be... Well, in fact, I can't do anything now with that. Then again, did I get... No, I didn't get an energy switch. This is really bad. I don't think I can do anything here. The most I can do... Then again, no, I can't even do that. Yeah, I'm just going to grab Mew. There's not really a lot I can do here, unfortunately, folks. Yeah, I think we're just out of steam. I'm just going to go to a game 2. Rather unfortunate, we had a really good start with the Pika there. But, yeah, we just ran out of steam. Prizing that Super Rod really bit us. And ironically, Persian did get my tongue because he didn't get to do anything in that matchup. Let's go to a game 2. Welcome back to a game 2. I just remembered that the opponent's name was referencing a Marvel film with Red Skull. Hopefully he's been protecting the Soul Stone. If you're not a Marvel fan, you will not get that reference, so don't worry about it. I do love Marvel. Although, I will admit, like, Marvel's been slipping recently, but I hope that with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as what's-his-face? What's the name? Doctor Doom, that's it. I hope... Oh, we're facing a grass deck. Okay, this could be tough. I hope that, you know, we can at least, you know, like, we can at least go, hey, this is what, you know, this is what RDJ is going to do. And I hope RDJ, like, actually, you know, play... I'm sure he will, because he played Iron Man spectacularly. But no, genuinely, I think, you know, with the way in which they've done it, and obviously, you know, the hype around him... Because, you know, he is a really good actor, and I've always enjoyed watching him, you know, do that sort of thing. Okay, Clefairy, that's fine to top deck. So let's go for Meowth. Nest Ball. Do I grab Fan now? Because I don't have a Terror, that's the problem. I could just grab a Teal Mask, get a Grass on, and hopefully draw into something better. So I might do that instead. It's a bit less risk, he says. So we'll Teal Dance. There's Wellspring, that's not really helpful though. It's not helpful in this matchup anyway, I'm just going to pass. I kind of wish I had attached to the Persian now, but... Or the Meowth, sorry. This could be a tough matchup though, because obviously they play a lot of big 3 prize Pokemon, Venusaur, Mega Meganium if they want to play it. So this could actually be a pretty tough matchup for us. This could most definitely be. So let's see what they get, because obviously they are playing a bug catching set right now. If we do obviously get like Crispin and we manage to draw into another grass, I can go aggressive with my Teal Mask. But obviously they play a lot easier ways to... I think, you know what? Judging by this deck build, like what I've seen so far, because I've seen 3 Chikoritas. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually think this build that we're facing, I think this is a Mega Meganium build. Like, it's just Mega Meganium, no Venusaur. There's an attachment. They've already Teal danced, I believe. Yeah, they're going to pass. That's fine. Well, there's Nest Ball. That's not really helpful for me right now. What do I grab here? Because I can't thin this hand down. That's the problem. I mean, I can get down to, what? 2? Can I? No. Yeah, 2. Because obviously Air Balloon, bench the Wellspring, evolve the bench one to Persian. So I can get some value off of Mew, at the very least. So let's do that. We don't really have the room for, like, Area 0 or, like, any Noctowls. But, again, I could boss, but still, I don't think it's worth it. That's fine. I think I just let them have the Meowth. Because then I get access to Counter Catcher and I can bench the Fan and potentially go for a Chikorita. So I'm fine with this. I'm not in a rush, so to speak. A top deck of Area 0 would be beautiful, though, I will say. But obviously now they're going to take the first knockout, which is a slight issue, but we can deal with it. So we're going to double evolve to Bayleaf. If we can get Wellspring going, that'd be really nice. There goes our CC, so that's not happening anytime soon. See what we get off the CC. Or the Iono. That's fine, I think. That's actually fine. I actually think that's... I mean, they're going to get Mega Meganium established, which is a problem, but I think this is actually fine. Because, hold on, Mega Meganium is 70 plus, isn't it? Which one was it? It was the bug catching set. 50 plus more damage each grass attached. I mean, the chance of us hitting a Teal Mask off the top for Persian is pretty high as well. Because we can just Team Rocket's Energy this, and we can obviously, you know, Teal Dance, Energy Switch to the Wellspring and stuff like that. Or even Clefairy, because Clefairy is good in this matchup as well. To obviously deal with Teal Mask. There's a Teal Mask. He's got a Nest Ball. Maybe he's reading Persian and is trying to thin his deck out of potential attackers that I could use using Haughty Order. That could potentially be it. I think he's doing that because he's just benched a 3rd Teal Mask. I think he's thinning to stop me from using Persian, which is fair enough. I understand that. Okay, Mirror Leaf Shower. I just remembered as well, for us to actually take the knockout, use Mirror Leaf Shower to copy it with Persian, we will have to energy switch this grass to the Persian. But that's fine. So, let's do that first, before I forget. In fact, I can just Cruel Slash this, actually. I could just Cruel Slash, Mirror Leaf Shower, well, Cruel Slash him in general, and that should be fine. Let's go for a Teal Dance. Okay, that's a Terapagos. Terapagos would be pretty good, actually, so I'm going to bench that. I'm going to Crystal it, because it's actually going to be pretty good in this matchup. Let's go for a Grass and a Lightning. Grass to hand, Lightning to Terapagos, and Cruel Slash. I'm not going to use Haughty Order, because obviously he's been thinning his deck. I think he has a way to, you know, I think he's been thinning his deck so I don't get Haughty Order value. Next turn, I can risk the Haughty Order, because obviously he is confused. But yeah, I must admit, I'm not confident in this matchup with the Persian. I'd much rather this be a Fire-type attacker like a Moltres or something, because Moltres would be cleaning up these Teal Masks. And yeah, there's the Meganium. They can obviously hit through the Confuse as well, which could be an issue. But then I just go into Terapagos and start Crown Opaline, and then they can't really do much outside of, you know, powering up Mega Meganium. But I can 2-hit this with Crown Opal. So if they get the Mirror Leaf Shower, I'm not really forced. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do, because I'm not worried. It's just if they get a Mirror Leaf Shower knockout, that could be a concern. I'm going to Energy Switch to the Mega Meganium, and I'm going to Lily's Determination. I think they're trying to keep this Teal Mask alive myself. Poffin, probably for another Chikorita. No, Bidoof. Okay, that's fine. I can live with a Badoo. They're going to go for the Confusion. And of course they get heads, for God's sake. Which means they get to Mirror Leaf Shower for a ridiculous amount of damage. Why is it always the decks that play Teal Mask that always get that sort of luck? That's ridiculous. Even through the Confusion. Right, so let's Teal Dance first. There's Pika. Pika's actually going to be valuable in this matchup. I don't really want to throw away double Noctowl, but I might not have a choice, because I literally can't do anything. I'm going to do it. So we do this for the content. I'm not even going to grab Fez. I'm just going to draw off the Mew and just hope for the best. This is really bad for us. Okay, we've got a Water, so that's fine. We can attack with the Terapagos. And we can use Crown Opal. So now this forces our opponent to, you know, find more resources. But the chance of them not having it is quite low. Because Crown Opal forces Mega Meganium. But Mega Meganium can take out Terapagos with one more energy attached. So I'm pretty certain they have it. The only way in which we win this game now is if we somehow get this Pika charged up and we can start, you know, picking off Teal Mass. That's the only way in which we win. And yeah, there's a second attachment. So they can just go straight in with Giant Bouquet and completely ruin our luck. Oh boy. This is a horrible matchup. And to be honest, it's what happens when, you know, we have limited resources that, you know, we can deal with a Mega Meganium. We just can't deal with it. We don't do enough damage. That's the problem. So, you know, but yeah, they could just Teal Dance, set up their attackers. They just need boss for game on any of my two prizes bar Pika. So, yeah. Not looking good for us, is all I'll say. And yeah, 270. I mean, I don't know if Meganium counts as, you know, like Meganium would have helped with my Teal Mask. I'm not sure about that. Don't think that's how the rolling works, but still. We can Super Rod some stuff back, so that's at least something. So let's get back you, and you. Okay. I need to Fez here, I think is correct. So let's do that. Fez for 3. Has a Metal and a Crispin. So we get the attack with a Teal Mask, but I don't think that's how it works with the ruling of a Teal Mask. I'm going to put it there just in case. Teal Dance. I just don't think it works. Yeah, 240. We're doing nowhere near enough. I think it's like, I think even if we put the energies here, like, you know, we can't energy switch. We're nowhere close. So I'm going to go down fighting with a 270 with a Mirror Leaf Shower. And, well, we lose. So, game 3 it is. And welcome back to game 3. Quite unfortunate there with the luck there against Teal Mask Ogerpon. Yeah, we wouldn't have, even if we had like double attach, Teal Mask, you know, stuff like that, they literally just need a grass energy to win, and they play like, I'd assume they play like 10 or 11, because obviously, you know, Mega Meganium, obviously, with them not playing the Venusaur line, they would still need to, you know, get at least 2 energy on it, and even then, Teal Mask with 1 extra energy would have been enough, given the amount of energy we had to obviously, you know, do the stuff. But yeah, that's definitely not made things great. But obviously we are going first this time, which hopefully should benefit us. Obviously we can Fan Rotom, fin out some stuff. I'd love to face, believe it or not, I'd love to face Pult with this deck. Gigas. Okay. Probably is going to be another grass deck then, but that's fine. So that's Nest Ball for a Teal Mask, or Teal Mask. We've got Gigas in there, well not Gigas in there. It's only because I've just seen Gigas. Pika's in there, Wellspring's in there, let's have a look. I prized no Noctowls this time, that's good. Okay. Spark and Crystal, we have prized a Grass. What about Crispin? We prized 1 Crispin, that's fine, I can live with that. Alright, Fancall first, so we get more value off of the Teal Mask draw. So let's go you. Bench. Bench. Teal Dance now. There's Hilda, that's excellent. We can then Nest Ball. Grab the Latias in case. So we have started the Fan Rotom, but I'm more than happy. Is our Team Rocket's energy prized? It is. Okay, that's fine. Less value of the Hilda, but that's fine. We can live with that. I'm not going to give him the Stadium just in case, and I will pass. I'm pretty happy with that turn. This is where I would love a Earthen Vessel in this list, but that's just another thing that I would have wanted. But of course, you know, I can't fit everything into a deck list. It's one of those things, like, you know, you can't put everything in a deck list and expect a deck to run efficiently. There's only so much you can put in. And even putting in the grass, well, the grass energy, the Teal Mask Ogerpon, and the Iron Leaves, that was hard enough fitting this into the list. And some lists that I've been seeing are playing 2 Teal Mask, and I don't think you need to play 2, but it's definitely not easy, that's for sure. So they're going to Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. If they don't do anything, we could potentially win with, you know, Noctowl, Jewel Seeker, Ultra Ball, Crispin. We could potentially win with the Persian now. But it depends on what they put on top of the deck. So I suspect they don't really have anything, given how long they're taking to think. So let's see. I'm hoping we can obviously go for game with, you know, the Haughty Order and stuff like that. But hopefully it works out. And obviously they can't play any Ball Search because they've just put cards on top of the deck. So hopefully my observation is correct. A Kyurem. Okay, I'm not sure what that's doing in here. Is this that Vileplume deck I've been seeing the rounds? I'm not entirely sure, but let's see what we can do. So let's go for a Noctowl and use Jewel Seeker. So we can go for a Crispin, and we need an Ultra Ball, so let's grab one of those. So I'll Ultra Ball away the Fez, and the secondary is 0, which I think is fine. Grab a cat, because we're going to need it. Evolve to the cat. Crispin. So obviously we do not have... I'm going to save the grasses in there. I'm just going to grab these energies, because they're unlikely to be relevant. Attach here. Retreat into the Persian. And Haughty Order. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it's a Slowpoke deck. Interesting. I can actually copy Cruel Arrow. I can also copy Super Psy Bolt, but it's not too relevant. I can copy Headbutt, Surf. I think it's fine to actually hit the bench cure, but then again, no. Because he's got all these attackers, I think I just copy Super Psy Bolt and do 120. I think it's fine to do that. Because then that means if he gets if we have a Kyurem that can, you know, obviously be copied, we can take out Gigas, we can take out multiple Slowpokes and stuff like that. But still, this actually could be where Haughty Order actually pulls its weight. There's Academy at Night, not worried about that. That's fine. Obviously, our Teal Mask is protected by his Terra effect, so that will protect us from the Kyurem, which is good. And just a pass, that's actually really good. I'm tempted to boss the Kyurem, but then again, that means if they get it, we could be in trouble. I'm just going to Lilies, I'll be brutally honest. I'll take that, that's actually really good. So we can go Nest Ball. Since I know now it is a Slowpoke King deck, I can grab Wellspring. I'll attach Psychic Energy to him. We'll then Nest Ball for a Hoothoot. And I'll go for a Haughty Order again. Why not? Let's see what we get. Another Slowpoke. What's this? Flip coin if heads. Okay. We're just going to go for the Super Psy Bolt again. I'm fine to do that. At least we're taking out the Gigas. Because Gigas can obviously deal with Teal Mask quite easily. Same with the Wellspring. I'm happy with that. That's completely fine. Let's see what they can do next. And obviously if they don't do anything... Oh yeah, I think they've bricked because they've just put an emote I've just seen. Because if they don't do anything, I will just go Ultra Ball for Noctowl, Jewel Seeker for an energy switch and win the game that way. I'm not going to waste my opponent's time. And yeah, Ultra Ball. Get rid of these two. I'm not going to waste my opponent's time. I'm going to play as fast as possible. Because there's no guarantee I draw into an energy off Iono. Or an energy switch. So I'm literally just going to grab the E-switch. Energy switch off the Teal Mask to the Persian. And Cruel Slash for the game. Feel sorry for my opponent. But, well, like I said, I had no guarantee of drawing into that off the energy off of it. So that's why I went for the Noctowl, but there we go. Cruel Slash for the game. Let's go to game 4, I think. And welcome back to game 4. We got ourselves into Goldengo rank after that. Quite unfortunate, but we was able to copy a couple of, you know, funny attacks. You know, it's not every day you're copying Super Psybolt. Just a shame we didn't find a Kyurem. That would have probably sped up the process, because obviously, you know, we could still go Energy Switch, Crispin, stuff like that, you know, like, we could still do that. But yeah, that went okay. I mean, it was good to know that it was a Slowking deck. That's why I got the Wellspring down. But yeah, I didn't want to waste my opponent's time. Like I said, there's no guarantee I draw it into an energy off the Iono. So that's kind of why I went for, you know, the play that I did. And that is a pretty solid start, I will say. And they have a mulligan. What are we facing? Oh, looks like Tera Ninja, and they're playing the wrong Frogadier. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I say wrong Frogadier, there's technically no wrong answer. But the one that does, I think it's 20 damage and Numbing Water. That can be quite troublesome. They're going first as well. And obviously the cat is fighting weak. So this could be ugly. Let's see what happens. Luminous Energy. And they're probably going to play Mega Frostlass as well, so we need to play around that. And a pass. Okay, that's fine. Here's Turo. So we can get rid of these, because they're cards that I want to thin. Just so we don't have... In fact, I don't need to grab Fan. I can grab a Teal. But then again, they're playing Greninja, so... have we... Hold on. Have we priced double Wellspring? No way we priced double Wellspring in the matchup where it's going to matter the most. Okay. That's a problem. That is a massive problem for us. We prize both our Wellsprings. That is going to be a nightmare in this matchup. Yeah, Fan and Meowth is fine. Fan Call. So I want to grab another Hoot. I think I literally just grab another Hoot and that's it. I don't need to grab a Noctowl because I don't want to play into the Mega Frostlass too much. I'm just going to do that. Bench you. Teal Dance so I can get an energy on the board for E-Switch target. That's fine. That thins another card. Do I attach this here? If they have Mega Frostlass, they kill it anyway, and I'd rather the Air Balloon be somewhere else. But then again, it's not hugely relevant, so I'll just put it here for now, and I'll pass. They can take out a Hoothoot here, but again, not particularly worried about that. It's the fact that we priced double Wellspring, which is going to be stinging us in this matchup, but hopefully we can find a Tera Ninja off of the Persian. That'd be pretty nice. The reason why I put the Air Balloon there as well is because obviously Persian has a 2 retreat cost, and obviously it is a stage 1 Pokemon. There's a Terra Orb, so they're probably going to get a Tera Ninja now. Well, it's a blank card, but I would assume it's a... No! This is spicy already! That is a Frostlass EX! Wow, I've not seen this card in a long time. I've not seen this since our Wheel of Pain episode. I like it. Frost Bullet for 140, do 20 to the bench. Obviously it can't hit the Teal Mask, but it's like a Frostlass Monkey Dory spread. Or Frostlass spread. There's their Wellspring, so we need to be careful of that. But they can go for a Frost Bullet and take out one of my Hootoots. This is interesting, because obviously Evanescent is actually relevant here. You know, it is technically relevant, you know. So where they're going to put... Okay, they tried to hit the Teal Mask. Rather stupidly, but they may not know that, so I'm going to let them off. So let's promote the Meowth and draw for turn. There's Bear. Bear is going to be relevant in this matchup, which is good. So let's evolve to the Persian. Go for the Noctowl and Jewel Seeker with the Teal Mask in play. Do we have Hilda? We do. Do we have Team Rocket's Energy? Because I'd rather thin that out of the deck. We do. Excellent. So I'm going to go Hilda, and I think I just go for Night Stretcher and recover that thing. But then again, I can go Nest Ball and get myself a Fez, so I'd rather do that. So let's go for the Hilda. We'll go for the Team Rocket's Energy and a Noctowl. Then we can Nest Ball, grab our Fez. Fez for 3. Okay, that's fine. Clefairy's not going to be too relevant unless they do have, obviously, you know, the Tera Greninja. And what do we find? Absolutely nothing. It's going to be a Frost Smash for 60, it seems. It's better than nothing, I guess, but that's not ideal. And obviously, with the Lucky Helmet trigger, they do draw an extra 2 cards. Which technically thins their deck for Haughty Order. That's bad. Like I said, we do have Clefairy in this matchup, so if they do have the Tera Greninja, like I suspect they do, this could be okay for us. But I ideally want to copy Mirage Barrage and take out both Snowrunts. I'm not worried about the Tera Greninja, I'll be honest. And yep, there he is, Tera Greninja. I knew he was in that deck. But they seem to rely a lot on hand attachments, which is good. But what's the Luminous for? That's my question. But yeah, they're going to go into the Greninja, Shinobi Blade my Persian, Crispin. Are they going for... They can't Mirage Barrage the active unless they have Power Pro. They need Power Pro. So what's their other energy type? Psychic, okay. But you can't Mirage Barrage and take up my Persian. You have to Shinobi Blade. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this could get ugly. But if we do get the Clefairy down with enough resources, we could take out this Greninja this turn. So I'm not worried, it's just slightly concerning. We do need a lot off of the, you know, the cards that we're going to draw here. Because I can't bear this. Okay, so we bench the Clefairy. Do I thin a card out and then... Well, I can Ultra Ball and then shuffle the card to the bottom of the deck. I think I just thin Noctowl and Hoothoot because I'm not going to use them this late in the game. I don't think it's too risky to bench them. So I'll just grab a card that I don't want to see, which is Pika. Because Pika's not good enough to take out this guy. So then we'll Iono. We'll go up to 6. They go down to 3. Okay. We can still get there. We just need a lot. So I'm thinking of Ultra Balling away the Persian and the boss. Because then I can thin the Mew out and we can draw additional cards. I think that's fine. So we'll do that. We'll play the Nest Ball as well. Do I want to Fin Bear? I don't think I want to Fin the Bear because the Bear is a big risk if I whiff because it's fighting weak. But then again, so is the Fez, so I think it's fine to bench the Bear here. I'll attach to the Clefairy. The reason why I'm not doing it... Then again, no, I shouldn't have. I should have attached there. I've just realised. Shit. Okay. There's Crystal. That does get us an attack off, but it's not enough. That's me misplaying there. I should have not attached to the Clefairy, but it's not made a difference here. Spark and Crystal. I'm just trying to think how much damage we do. We don't do enough. Shoot. I could Unify Beatdown for 240, but then that just, again, Terapagos is fighting weak. Let's Teal Dance. That's what we get. I think that's my best solution right now. There's a Grass. I could Crystal the Teal Mask Ogerpon, but then they just literally need boss for game on like Noctowl or something. You know what? Just to thin an extra card, I'm gonna do it. Mirror Leaf Shell 150. There's not a lot we can do here, unfortunately. This is really bad. I mean, on the plus side, unless they have Gust, they are not taking out this Teal Mask this turn. But if they have an Energy, which I'm pretty certain I remember them having one in hand from the Crispin, they can just go Mirage Barrage, take out Fan and a Noctowl, and then all they need to do is do something else for game. And yeah, there it is. They even have a Luminous in hand. So they can Mirage Barrage, take out the Noctowl and the Fan, and take 2 prize cards. There is a world in which we win this, but given we just played our Iono, I don't think it's going to happen. What I need to do is I need to put Bear up here, because Bear is my bulkiest attacker. But then again, Greninja. Greninja would one-shot it. So, I'm actually going to Super Rod here first. I'll put back 1 of each, and I will put back... Because did we have the second Meowth in deck? I don't think we did. On the up, then again, no. On chance we didn't, because I didn't check, I'm not going to risk that. So, how much damage are we doing? 120, so I have to Teal Lance here. That's fine. Okay, we did have a Meowth in there. That's kind of annoying, but it's fine. So then flip the script. There's an E-switch. That's not too relevant right now. I could energy switch to the Mew. Prepare Mew just in case, because Shinobi Blade copied Greninja, or copy Greninja. Could be relevant. On the off chance that doesn't happen, I'm just going to attach to the Mew. Why is it only doing 150? Oh wait, hold on, I actually have to E-switch. Hold on. That was my mistake, I miscounted. That's fine. We can still Mirror Leaf Shower, take this guy out. But now we have to pray they don't have boss. Because if they do, we lose. I mean, realistically, we've probably lost anyway, but, you know, I can at least think about it. We've not used our Night Stretcher, so we still could get Meowth back in the game. Mega Signal. So they've got a Mega in there as well. Oh no, I forgot to play around the Frostlass. Yeah, they have game. I forgot to play around the Frostlass. I completely forgot about that. And yet, there's the Water Energy. They can smack us for, what, 350? Yeah. To be fair, even if I could, I wouldn't have been able to fin much anyway, because I was taking 2 prize cards. So yeah, we was not winning that game. I could have obviously gone instead for Iron Leaves. But yeah, that was pretty rough. That was a really tough matchup. Obviously, Fighting Weakness, you know, the Terra Frostlass EX, which I've not seen that since the Wheel of Pain episode. And even Mega Frostlass, you know, that's a pretty spicy deck, though. I'll give my opponent that, you know, like, really interesting build, and I'm actually kind of impressed by it, you know. It's not every day you face something like in the early tiers of the ladder where you're like, you know what, that actually makes sense. And when you start to think about it, I mean, aside from the fact their energy acceleration was quite slow, other than that, you know, like, obviously they did have Crispin and stuff like that, but, you know, Crispin, you know, it's just support for turn, you don't really want to be using it. But no, genuinely, that list that we just faced then really impressed me, and maybe I'll look into it. So, what do I think to the deck? I think this deck is very interesting and fun. It's just, we got unlucky with our matchups. Obviously, facing Dengo, even though we had access to Pika, is, you know, just something. We ran out of steam in that one. You know, facing something like a Tera Greninja deck is always going to be a horrible matchup because of our fighting weakness on multiple Pokemon. Obviously, Fez is fighting weak, Bear is fighting weak, the Persian's fighting weak. You know, you start to see where the problems arise. In terms of changes, the only thing I would probably say is probably cut a Grass Energy. Only reason for this is because I never really saw myself using 4 unless, like, you know, in that situation where we obviously had to go for the swing with the Teal Mask. But even then, I could have energy switched to Lightning and it wouldn't have mattered. Because obviously the Crystal was covering one of those grasses anyway. The only thing that I would probably say is I would want, obviously, a Moltres in this list. I think, you know, given the large amount of Teal Mask, if you are going to play a deck like this, I think the large amount of Teal Mask is something that obviously is quite a big threat. Otherwise, though, I think this is a bit of an underpowered version of, you know, Tera Box in general. Tera Box can afford to, obviously, you know, have more space than what this deck can, because obviously we've had to put in a Hilda, the Team Rocket's Energy, a 2-2 line of a Pokemon that is quite hard to, obviously, you know, utilize effectively. I think if you save those 5 spaces, you can literally go for a Fire, a Moltres, probably something else like a Ditto would probably be a good idea before it rotates. Can't really think of what else would work, but you know what? I actually think this deck did okay. Fair enough, it lost most of its games, and you know that's just going to happen sometimes. But that's not going to affect my rating of the deck if we lose or not. Just as a heads up. But you know, I think this deck has a lot of potential. I just think, you know, it needs a bit more time in the oven. And it's also going to struggle into a lot of different matchups, which, you know, it can be something problematic, so to speak. But ultimately, I think this deck does have some fun potential, but it's definitely something you take to your locals, not a regional. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the Persian Tera Box in action, and I'll see you next time.